How are you cuties doing? So today we're going to be checking out a video from Legal Mindset, who is going to explain to us how we can fight back with this Pokemon lawsuit. And I, for one, am a huge supporter of Pocket Pair, so to me this is going to be a very interesting video, and I can't wait to check it out with you. So why don't we turn the lights down low, snuggling close, and see what we have here. Okay, so here we are with Legal Mindset's video on this. I kind of want to point out that I've never seen any of this guy's videos. Um, I mostly only know him because I was like really following the Johnny Somali case. I just found it to be such an fascinating story because I just could not believe there was a guy out there being as stupid as he was in foreign countries, no less. So yeah, this is going to be the first time I actually see anything because I would follow the Johnny Somali case through Yellow Flash, and that's about it. So this is going to be fun. I actually get to see this guy in action for once instead of as a snippet. So, yay! Let's get into this. With Andrew Esquire. Wait, his last name is Esquire? Is that really his last name? That is such an interest. Never mind. Okay, you know what? That's interesting, but we're moving on.
Nintendo may be taking on the world, and that may include.
Okay, I had to watch that a couple times because, yeah, it's not me. I thought it was me. Anyway.
The U.S. government as its lawfare campaign expands and continues. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and it's the Legal Mindset we teach you to be your own judge. So let's get right into it today. So this is a topic that many people have asked me to cover. And they've been asking me to cover this for a very, very long time because it's something very much ongoing, and it affects not just Nintendo, not just Pokemon and Palworld, but the entire gaming space. And this could affect a genre. This could affect the gaming space, the modding community, and even Nintendo itself. This could be make or break for Nintendo, where they cement an image in the world, in the gaming community, as the villain, as the evil corporation, and really turn things downward for their very own business. But we're going to talk.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. That's actually been my question, like from the start of this whole Nintendo debacle. Like, they want us to believe that Nintendo themselves are like this happy-go-lucky company and they love everyone. That's what Pokemon is for. It's to bring us together. But no, they're actually pretty villainous, which I thought was fascinating because that just paints a totally different picture from what I was expecting. Um, I've played my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Red. And yeah, so once I heard that they were going after Pocket Pair, it's like I really wanted to double down on how much I like them because I've been following the games for the most part, like in its entirety, like each one. I've played each one, not well. I don't think, because I don't remember a good portion of them. Like, I know there's so many like diehard fans. I think honestly I would just skip the dialogue, so I don't remember a whole bunch. But yeah, no, so then to hear that they're going to go after Pocket Pair really shocked me because if they felt threatened, why didn't they just make their game better? Outperform the competition. But instead of doing that, they acted childishly, which I thought was insane. So yeah, I don't know. I really hope that they're able to lose this lawsuit. I think it would be good for them because I feel like maybe they just grew too big for their britches or something.
About this today from both a legal perspective and also from a business perspective, because as I am a corporate attorney, I've seen the inside of these corporations. I know what makes business sense and what doesn't. And indeed, this campaign of lawfare is absolutely suicidal for Nintendo. And of course, this is
okay. Yeah, I was wondering that because aren't they actually making enemies of pretty much every gaming company out there? Because they're not only like bullying Pocket Pair. They're bullying other companies by stating that, hey, they own this particular mechanic, even though they clearly don't. So yeah, I don't know. It's just such a crazy choice. I I kind of wonder what made them go the villain route. I have so many questions. Like, I want to know what happened in those offices. Did it have to do with like the woke mind virus, or were they just evil to begin with, and now we're just seeing their true colors?
Is a fast facts video. So if you want to see the longer version, you want to get all the reactions, all the comments, you check out the live. If you do like the fast facts, make sure you like the video and leave a comment below. So let's get into the PowerPoint, the PP here today. And of course, this is
The
both a
PP.
Japanese and US thing because the lawsuits are going on in Japan, but there's US patents involved. And of course, when the US government gets involved, well,
That's crazy. Why do they have a US patent? Look, I know they have like an international company, but why do they have a US patent? They shouldn't have that. I I don't know. I just feel like that's too far. Like, if they're going to stick to a company, or like not a company, but if they're going to stick to a country, shouldn't it just be their own? I don't know. I would just think they would keep it to Japan.
that will be a lawsuit in America. So let's talk about this.
Good,
So first
good. I hope they get hit with a lawsuit in America because that's fucking wild. Nintendo argues mods don't count as proper games as Pokemon v Palworld lawsuit continues. Yeah, right now. But you know what? They didn't used to care about small gaming companies before unless they threatened their brand because they were better than them. I at least not that I know of. I could be completely wrong on that. But yeah, they're going to say that mods don't count right now, right this second, even though I'm sure they're going to come back and be like, mods are a detriment to games. Get rid of them. Fuck that.
well, there's an update that Nintendo is now arguing as part of their ongoing lawsuit with Palworld that mods don't count as proper games. So what they're attempting to do is have Palworld say, hey, you need to shut down every single mod out there of Palworld, especially if it would even seem a little bit like Pokemon. We're going to have you shut that down because Palworld is, of course, being accused of being too similar to Pokemon and therefore
Well, then, if mods don't count as proper games, why are you having a snit over mods making those pals into Pokemon? I mean, I think it's ridiculous. If you sell your game and you've made it and you shipped it out and people have bought it, if they're going to mod it, that is their right. Period. Like, to me, that's how it should be. Okay, because these modders work hard for free. And all they're doing is learning making a game better for the players. They're actually making a game. They could improve a game. They could, visually improve it, or, even have like back end stuff that would help upgrade the game so that it's compatible with your computer or whatever. I just don't get this. Like, let people be artistically creative. If I would not be offended, like, say if I were to make a Pokemon game, right? Or a Pokemon like game or something, and it's all waifus or whatever. I would not be offended should somebody come in later, make a game that is similar in tone, and then a mod were to come in and be like, it would be really nice if we added the waifus that Cine made. I'd be flattered. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know the ins and outs of these corporations. I just enjoy playing a video game. I don't know. Maybe I'm the odd one.
hey, we're going to say you got to shut down everything. Now, mind you, their current lawsuit is over patents. It's actually not a copyright lawsuit, but they're attempting to expand it further. And you can see that, of course, people are coming out with mods and spin-off games right now. You see Pal Farm here, which is a Pal World spin-off game, enjoying a farming life with mysterious creatures known as pals. Team up with them and grow your farm.
I am going to watch this trailer. I'm going to react to it because I heard this is like their response, like Palworld or Pocket Pair's response to Nintendo, and they are going after Animal Crossing, and you can bet your sweet Bippy I really wanna play that game. I will be buying it. It's already wish listed. Like, I am so fucking hyped for this game, I cannot stand it. I still don't even know what's in it, and I'm already that hyped. I don't know. I don't know. I'm so excited. Anyway, okay, going on a tangent.
Farm at your own pace in this brand new creature collecting farming sim, fully playable and multiplayer. So this is them, hey, kind of spinning off of Palworld. Well, guess what?
It's not just Palworld, buddy. Oh, they're going after, like, oh man, all kinds of stuff. Like I mean, you could argue that this is a Stardew Valley thing because this is still like a farming sim, which is, I mean, right up my alley. Like I'm so fucking hyped. Okay. Yeah, I can see how this is like also Animal Crossing because can't you do some kind of planting in Animal Crossing? You should be able to, but definitely a dig at Pokopia. Um, like I don't know. I'm so excited. And you don't need like an entirely new gaming system to have your players play this. You could just have your computer, which is nice because I'm not going to buy a Switch 2, which is heavily overpriced. You don't get to actually own your games. You just get a little cartridge with like a download code and fuck that. Fuck that. Like I want to own my game. I want to own my console. I don't want them to be bricked because Nintendo had a weird pointy stick up their butt and they're like, blast that one because that's butt used. Fuck that. We don't do that. You know what? Then you really don't need my money. You know? I want a Steam Deck.
This is exactly the type of thing Nintendo hates. And what Nintendo is missing out here is that both Palworld and all these mods like Pal Farm are things that actually help Nintendo, help the company, and help everybody, but only because they're operating from this scarcity mindset, which drives them into this insane lawfare. Are they dragging them?
Okay, so he's going to break this down for us. Let's go.
The legal battles in Nintendo, and there's various ones that are ongoing here. First, and this is the biggest thing that bothers me, is that this battle over mods, really the decision whether or not to mod rests with the game owner and their end user license agreement, their ULA. So if Palworld wants to decide to allow mods, that's Palworld's decision. That should not be Nintendo's decision. So the big issue with this precedent is if Nintendo wins this precedent, then any game which looks at another game and says, hey, this looks sort of similar to me, or hey, I made some last minute patent, and we're going to talk about the sneaky patent troll level BS that Nintendo is pulling. Any company could come out, file a last minute patent, and stop mods. This would kill the modding community. This would allow big.
No, it's not just the modding community because then you also have to worry about games. Because look, we're looking at, okay, let's look at movies as a example. Okay, we already hit a point in time where we're only getting reruns of or like remakes and reruns and all of that in the movie theater because they ran out of ideas. So once everybody patents like everything in a video game, we're not going to have any new video games. They would have like effectively killed the gaming space, like period. Because you would only get the slop that Nintendo creates currently. Because let's face it, Pokemon hasn't been good in a while. Like, I would argue Arceus was their best game to happen in how long? And we haven't gotten anything as good. Like, they're only being forced to innovate and make Pokopia because Palworld exists. And that's fucking crazy. I don't want that. As a gamer, I do not want that. I do not ever want, people to go litigious and say, hey, you can't copy that mechanic. Fuck that. Who says? Why? You're making sure that people cannot bring new life to old ideas by stifling the creativity that you're having now. If somebody is going to take an element from your game, look at it as a flattering thing because, hey, that means that your game was so good that that part stuck out to them and they were like, hey, I don't think I can make this other game without having that kind of love or that idea in here. It's baffling because they're not going to copy it verbatim. Like looking at Palworld, okay, they can't copy it verbatim because then I think, you do have a reason to be litigious, but like having a a monster catching system, I don't think that is a brand new idea. Pokemon was not the first, from what I understand. So why should they be the only one? I want to play a game where I could capture like cute little animals, where I could build a base. They're just mixing in a bunch of genres that should go together. Like they go so well. You don't think that you're going to build a house in Pokemon and just be like, "Oh, that fits with like within the game world." But in Palworld, it fits just fine. It's perfect. You have pals that can hold guns. You have pals that help you build. I love that mechanic. I want to see more innovative games that use Pokemon like creatures and see what else they can create because that's going to be fascinating. If I could have a game full of cute animals that I could just be like, I'm going to take this one specifically home and, you know, I guess for the furries out there, potentially do weird things. Anyway, I'm gonna take this particular Pokemon type thing home, and I'm gonna be so happy. I'm gonna make it farm. Like, and then I'll sit out there, watch it farm, and be like, "Oh, you adorable little thing! You look at you, just plowing that field. Go for it! I believe in you. I want things like that." Ah, I hope they lose. I hope they lose. Okay.
Corporations, big corpos to nuke mods across the board. And this is an absolute travesty because mods are sometimes the most beloved parts of the game. In fact, many times big companies look at the mods and they find which mod is most successful and they make a game based on the mod, or they make official support.
Yeah, you have Fallout London. They were supposed to have, was it Fallout Mexico or something in Mexico? I don't remember what. But like, you had Fallout London. That sounded like a badass game. I didn't play it, but I mean, it still sounds badass, you know? What was another one? Oh, yeah. I forgot about these. So yeah, you also have Dota, a World of Warcraft 3 mod that came out, or like was it Dota 2? And then you had Gary's mod, which is a Half-Life 2 mod, which is I've heard of it, but I haven't played it, but it's adorable. Like, I mean, you have all kinds of mods that existed that became their actual own games, and I think the industry was better for it.
For that mod, right? Look at Dota, right? Dota became a thing, right?
Yeah.
And once again, goes all the way back to being a mod. But a lot of these gaming companies have forgotten their roots. They've forgotten where things come from. And they're just trying to win through little legal persnickety tactics, which just make them seem petty and ultimately push them deeper and deeper into the villain role. And the biggest thing that happened here that really caught my eye was last month, Nintendo snuck in a new patent, a US patent, about summoning a sub character to fight. So essentially what this does is say anytime that there's any game where there's a sub character, that meaning, you know, the main character. Now, initial analysis by patent attorneys, and once again, that's not my.
They're trying to stop him from speaking, so they're giving him lag. But I mean, think about it, because doesn't Final Fantasy use that type of system? The summoning of other things? Now, you said sub. Wait, hold on.
A sub character, that meaning, you know, the main character. Now, initial analysis by
yeah, sub character, side character. You can't summon a friend in battle. You can't summon creatures. Like, you've effectively just killed Final Fantasy. Good on you, Nintendo. I cannot get over the greed of these companies. I do not understand the greed. You hear game companies complain because somebody has taken a similar idea and they just did better than you, and that was the only real problem. I just don't understand greed because they want more money in video games, and you have them driving up prices. Like, Nintendo is so guilty of this. And what makes it worse is that people are just so willing to throw down whatever money Nintendo is wanting. Not even just Nintendo. You also have Xbox and you have like PlayStation, right? Because you have those new consoles that are coming out with less memory and don't even have like a disk drive, but they're going to cost like $200 more. And it's fucking insane. Like, the greed of these main companies is just retarded. Okay, so the fact that like Team Cherry came out, dropped a game, and was like, no, you don't really need to pay $80 for a game, just made me so fucking happy. Like, made me really fucking happy. time is tough. Like the times are tough right now. You know, everybody is suffering financially. And all these people can think about is what can they do to pad their own wallet? They're not thinking of the player base anymore. They've only ever thought of themselves. And I feel like it's been such a long time since these companies actually thought of the people that they're selling their games to. And I truly, truly appreciate all you indie game devs out there. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for remembering that we can't afford an $80 price tag on a game or a $100 price tag on a game. It's very disheartening. And I miss being able to buy like a CD that had a game on, or yeah, it was like a CD with games on it, and you could buy them at like Walmart or wherever. And, you actually got to own the game. I miss those days. Man, we had it so good and we never even knew it.
More of a generalist. Initial analysis has said, yeah, well, it's technically legal, but they really don't want a judge to look at it. If a judge looked at this, they might say, hold on there, especially in the United States, hold on there. What you're trying to do is control the entire pocket monster genre, or even pocket character or sub-character genre. You really can't do that. You can't do that in America. You can't say, hey, no, we own the entire genre. You can't do anything in this entire genre. That's not allowed. Think about superheroes, saying, hey, you can't make a superhero genre, or you can't make a monster genre, or whatever else, right? A horror genre, dinosaur genre, right? How far are we going to let these corporations go and just monopolizing genres? It doesn't make sense, and it stifles creativity. It's absolutely horrible for everybody. Nobody wins here, and the corporation just looks horrible. Now, what the reality is, and once again, I tell you guys the legal reality, whether the facts meet your feelings or not. And I hope that people who both are pro-Nintendo and anti-Nintendo can listen to this. But Japanese courts are likely to favor Nintendo. And now that's both based on the power and structure of Nintendo in Japan, their influence, etc. But the other thing that is really important,
I don't know if it's just influence. It's also how much money Nintendo can like shill out for the government system. Because let's be real here, their government system is fucked. Like their government system is stupid, and I feel like it's going to fail their people by siding with Nintendo because because Nintendo has the money to buy these judges out and to get the outcome that they desire. And the only way to really circumvent them winning is by having the public aware and bitch, like absolutely bitch about it. Because it's kind of like their decision to like bring in what is it? People from other countries, right? And the Japanese people just would not have it. They were not dealing with that crap. I feel like if the Japanese people were to complain about this, it would be very ugly very quickly. And then the courts would be more inclined to listen to the people versus how much money they get. However, it really depends on how much money they get because that's how fucked up their system is. I don't know.
to note, especially with the U.S. patents, is if any of those patents in the U.S. are challenged, U.S. courts might not look so favorably on Nintendo. So under US law, they might be in some trouble. And that's where Nintendo is probably sweating right now. Because if someone with deep enough pockets came at them and really came at them hard and really pressed them, they might be in some big trouble. So I want to get into a situation with America. In fact, it got brought up today by ICE in the Department of Homeland Security, which a very spicy video. And I'm wondering whether there's some base Chad in the social media department at DHS who's just sitting there. He's a gamer and he's like, hey, you know what's trending right now? Nintendo being an asshole. So let's troll them and let's absolutely poke Nintendo, because if anybody can go after Nintendo.
You mean poke Nintendo? I'll see myself out. Yeah, no, whoever made that video in Homeland or Department of Homeland Security, fucking give him a raise. Give him such a raise because they did a phenomenal job. I was so down for this. I loved every minute of it.
Nintendo, it is the U.S. government. Once again, Nintendo has a lot of money, but the U.S. government could just print money. I mean, they just print money. And what makes it even worse is most Japanese debt, if you don't know this, they tend to have a lot of it denominated in U.S. dollars. So as the U.S. prints, that just hurts the Japanese side. So Nintendo attempting to borrow would probably just end up benefiting the U.S. government, which just would fuel the lawsuit. So it's absolutely a glorious situation. It's kind of a funny white pill. But anyways, you can see the DHS in this gotta catch 'em all ICE video referencing the ICE roundups, used the kind of trademark lettering of Pokemon. You can see them here rounding up people. They use clips from Pokemon, Pokeballs, Ash Ketchum, etc., right? To the tune of gotta catch 'em all. So this is something that, hey, if Nintendo was going to come at them,
God, I love
Nintendo was
it.
going to say, hey, we're litigious. We have to sue everybody. We have to do everything. Well, Nintendo, if you want to play that game, if you want to be a big boy and sue everybody, let's see you sue the United States. Please, dear YouTube overlords, dear Nintendo, please do that. You will print me so much money covering this case. Please do that. As a grifter lawyer here on YouTube, I would love that. And I say it as a term of endearment, right? Of course, I'm joking. That would be horrible for Nintendo. That would be
I know I'm not. I hope they do. I hope they do. Like with everything that I have, I hope they try to sue the US government, because that would be fucking funny. I would die laughing. Oh my gosh. It would take a surgeon 2 hours to wipe the smile off my face. That's how much I would love it. Oh my goodness. I wish they would. I do.
disaster for them. But what was also funny is they not just copied the theme, but they even went to Pokemon cards. So even the Pokemon cards and all that.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that was them that made those Pokemon cards. That's fucking fantastic. And all of them have a weakness to ice. Oh my gosh, this person is beautiful. I love them. Now these scum on the cards, I hope they all get deported, and like the ones who have hurt kids, I have stronger feelings. I hope they go missing somewhere in Minecraft.
Related to them, they kind of, made those out. And whoever did the Pokemon card element of this video was like 3 seconds, but they put thought and detail into this, like type illegal HP1, right?
Oh my
they got
gosh.
their crime here, they got their history. And then the best thing that made me really laugh was weakness to ice. Weakness to ice. That's absolutely hilarious. And of course they all died to a shed ninja. Isn't it sad when you all died to a shed ninja? But anyways, let's look at this in fair use. So let's say, hey, if Nintendo's going to come at the U.S. government, what would happen? What are the fair use factors? And this applies to a lot of other cases as well. You can use this just broadly, especially for copyright, etc. Well, there's really 4 things. Purpose and character of the use. Is it commercial, non-commercial? Is it research, educational, governmental? The nature, is it factual or creative? The amount and substantiality of the work used. So if we're talking about the Ethan Klein lawsuits, right? If you just watch all of his content, that's all of it. That's really one of Ethan's stronger arguments in his lawsuits against Casey John Denims and the Orbiters and Discord and Reddit. But they just use some clips, right? So that's a much different story. And then last is the effect on the market. So
I ask that you please not sue me, Legal Mindset. Not that I think you're a dick, but I think I'm at putting in adequate pauses. I never know. I thought like a lot of the videos that had like, say, like even a 10-second sound clip of any Japanese like game song, especially like Pokemon ones, right? It does not matter how long. You could have 10 seconds, you could have 30 seconds, you could have, I don't know, 5 seconds. And as soon as they hear that tune, like even 2 seconds worth of that tune, you're getting hit with a demonetization, which is wild as fuck. Because I really, really thought that as long as you paused it or whatever, that it would be considered, creative fair use. But no, that is not the case. And that is fine. Well, no, it's not fine. I have complaints, but I mean, there's nothing I can do. So right now it is fine.
are you a market competitor? Are you a market competitor to Pokemon? So let's look at that compared it to the US government. Let's pretend in a magical world, pretend world, where Pokemon and Nintendo
I kind of
sue
like
the
him.
US government. This is not going to go well for them because the purpose and character of the use is governmental. It's nonprofit. They're not making a game. They're just trolling. They're just making a meme, right? What's the nature? It's a creative
You know what?
parody.
I feel like once they had people stop trolling other people, the world got extra sensitive. Really, really, they need, like, sincerely, with all my heart, bring back Call of Duty lobbies. Let people start getting their feelings hurt, because I don't give a fuck about other people's feelings. I don't care. Like, I do not want to hear how this big Nintendo company is so sad. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if they're mad. I don't give a fuck if they don't like anything that we're playing. Get over it. You make a game. Your opinions don't fucking matter. Moving on. Okay.
So it's something that typically is protected, not something that typically they would rule in favor of Nintendo. What's the amount? They only use little clips of the pieces. They use the theme song, but it's mostly government footage of government, officers arresting people, which Nintendo doesn't own. And what's the effect on the market? Not at all. The government is not in the pocket monster genre. The government is not, selling games.
Well, okay, so I do have a question here. He says amount and substantiality of work used. Well, if they're playing the entirety of the Pokemon song, is that not against fair use? Like, visually, they did disrupt it, which I thought was great because I actually liked the clips that they chose instead. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that would fall under the fair use part. And if it doesn't, why the fuck are they so picky?
Is not selling Game Boys and stuff like that. So all these factors would go in favor of the US government. So they would just lose that fight. But what I want to talk about today in the business suicide, and this is part of the deeper thought here that I hope you guys can appreciate as people of culture, is that there is an ability to profit, even if something is similar. And this is kind of the double effect. It's kind of the Hollywood double effect, or some people actually call this the Armageddon deep impact effect. Now, I know
I didn't even know that was a thing.
This, so stick with me. Back in the day of movies, when movies were good, when Hollywood did things, right?
Yeah, I miss
way
it.
back. You were probably a wee one if you're a younger person, but I remember this. They would put out similarly themed movies. So they're both about an asteroid that would end the Earth. And what this would do is, instead of hurting, because people might think, if you're living in a scarcity mindset, thinking, oh my gosh, there's only so much money, we got to get that money, we got to knock out our competitor. You might think, wow, why didn't Armageddon sue Deep Impact, right? Why didn't they knock them out of there? Well, number one, you can't take over a whole genre, right? And number two, the movies actually generated more money because both of them came out around the same time. Why did that happen? Let's talk about the double effect. So this is a proven market.
That's actually really cool. I didn't know that. I haven't seen Deep Impact. I have seen Armageddon. I did cry. Now I'm wanting to check out Deep Impact. Was it better than Armageddon? Okay.
Market strategy that boosts both products. There's shared hype, right? So people get excited for both. They get excited for, hey, I love space, I love these movies. And it creates a cultural conversation. People start talking about space, start talking about asteroids, start talking about, well, what if this happened? What would you do, right? It's like the zombie genre. People started talking about, well, if zombies attacked, what would you do? Would you survive? What would you do? What's your tactic for zombies, right? And it just takes over your thoughts. Beyond that, there's strategic differentiation. So let's talk about Pokemon and Palworld. So with Pokemon is intended for younger audiences. Now, I know I say intended because that said, and I'm looking at all of you guys out there, and listen, I don't care how much Tylenol you've taken. I'm not going to judge you, right? No judgment here in the legal mindset.
I'll judge. Yes, I'll do it. I'll judge. I will absolutely judge the shit out of you. If you took a stupid amount or if you took any Tylenol and we're not in pain, but only took it out of spite just because of the fact that you were pregnant, you're a fucking idiot. Okay? I'm not stuttering here. You're a fucking idiot. I'm judging.
People play Pokemon. I know a lot of adults that play Pokemon. I'm not judging you for that. Listen, I may or may not. I cannot disclose whether I have emulators on my computer, okay? And I cannot disclose whether I've played Pokemon Ultraviolet. That's something I'm not going to disclose on the internet. But that said, you can say, okay, Pokemon is intended for younger audiences. Palworld is mature. Palworld has guns. Palworld perhaps tackles the topic of slavery, right? There's these more mature topics and more refined taste, you might say, for Palworld. It's not necessarily a one-for-one. And beyond that, what it does is it boosts the genre, increased visibility. People are talking about pocket monsters, right? Pocket Monsters becomes cool again. It becomes a thing because everyone's making these games. And lastly, there can be cultural references. Content creators can argue forever. I remember getting on podcasts and talking about, hey, which is better, this or that, like with zombie movies, which is better, right? With fantasy, which is better, right? A Wheel of Time, Lord of the Rings, etc. Like you can argue and nerd out over these things, and that's good for both of the properties. It's good for everybody. You do not
Yeah,
need to.
especially now. Like back in the day, okay, I could kind of understand where they were coming from because they didn't have like social media. They didn't have like a bunch of ways to have other people do free advertising for you. Like if Nintendo was smart, they would let people play these games on stream without demonetizing them so quickly because they are generating the attention that that company needs in order for people to go out and say, hey, I saw my favorite streamer playing this game. I would like to play it because I could either do better than they can or it just looked that fun, So that it boggled my mind why YouTube was basically saying, no, you can't play this and show anybody that you are playing this or we will come after you. Why should you be a dirty little secret?
Knock everybody out. So my kind of preaching to Nintendo here, it's sort of the choose the path of good, right? I've been on this kind of thing here for a lot of different reasons, but choose the path of good, Nintendo. You still can get people to like you, but you have to decide which character you want to be, right? Do you want to be Bowser? Do you want to be evil, or do you want to be Mario? Right?
No, they sued Bowser. So yeah.
And I'm okay if you're Donkey Kong, right? I'm okay if you're out there wrecking stuff. Even Peach, because actually she's probably like a little bit chaotic bad. I don't know. Peach, I may have to demote her. But once again, you can be Donkey Kong. You can still wreck stuff. You can still be a little wild. But you don't want to be evil. You don't want to be in the Bowser Goomba, territory and be known as a bad company. And I want a world in which good games are made and Nintendo makes good games. If Nintendo goes back to just focusing on the games instead of suing everybody and realizing that they themselves will profit, if they lay off the gas, they become the good guy, they focus on their content, and they can even collaborate with other companies that are in the similar genre and work together. How about a Pocket Monster convention, right? You could do so much with that. If you choose to work together and focus on what businesses should be doing.
Could you imagine a Pocket Monster convention and everybody is dressed up as Pokemon? I would die happy.
Which is making money instead of engaging in lawfare. I don't know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next.
I liked that video. He looks like every time I see his picture, like with that haircut, I feel like he's like a 1940s news anchor. I don't know. I liked that video and he had a lot of good points, stuff that I never really considered. So yeah, no, that's actually pretty fascinating. I will have the link to this video in the description. So check it out if you haven't already. Show your support to Legal Mindset. I find his content pretty fascinating. And I just feel like they should really listen to this guy, not out of my best interest, but for theirs. Like, if that would help your company, why would you instead choose to basically kill outside information, or like other people from accessing your game? Okay, because let's think about it. You have the Switch 2. They don't like it if you have to buy a used copy of a video game, because now it'll brick your system, which is crazy. Okay, or they don't like it if you buy a used Switch 2. They want everybody to buy a brand new one, and that way they can reap all their money. Well, if people don't like your product and if people aren't allowed to talk about your product, how is word of mouth getting around that, hey, this is a really good system, or hey, this is a really good game? People don't have those gaming magazines anymore. They have Reddit, and that's like about it. Well, like 4chan, they have other places, but you're going to get more engagement, I think, if you have YouTubers or Twitch people or whatever playing that game and showing people, hey, this game is actually really fun. You should play it for yourself. And yeah, so this is just mind-boggling. Like having and I know what it is. Like Nintendo doesn't want everybody to look at their game and go, "Hey, this has been the same game for like X number of years. Do you think you could give us something new?" And they didn't like the Palworld was actually improving their game. Well, that's what happens when you get lazy and greedy. You didn't innovate, you didn't move forward. All you did was stagnate and change the graphics, and that was it. Well, with that being said, I am actually curious. Are you guys on the side of Pocket Pair or are you leaning on the side of Nintendo? I mean, if you guys hadn't noticed, I'm definitely leaning on the side of Pocket Pair. I cannot wait to check out their new game. I cannot wait to hear about the hissy fit that Nintendo is going to throw over it. Um, I do wish them all the luck on winning this lawsuit in America because I know they'll never win it in Japan. But you know what? I know a couple of you guys actually really support Nintendo in this, and good on you if you do. I am just going to be supporting Pocket Pair, and yeah, hopefully this drives Nintendo to actually improve their games. Fingers crossed, because not they don't always learn. Remember to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you cuties soon. Bye! One last thing, cuties, before you go. You can find me on all platforms as Siniviere. Also, don't miss me and my friends on Countercast every Monday at 6 p.m. CST on Words of Paradise's channel. Be sure to stop by and say hello. I always love hearing from you. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. And, if you'd be so kind, help a girl out, won't you? Like and subscribe. I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye!